Look at almost any major city today, and you will hear the exact same explanation for skyrocketing housing costs. We are simply out of room. We have built to the absolute edges of our geography, packing people into tighter and tighter spaces. But that explanation is completely false. We aren't out of physical space at all. To prove it, we conduct a spatial audit, a top-down look at how a city allocates its most valuable resource, land. When we map out the real estate and highlight everything legally required for car storage, a massive portion of the grid lights up. We surrender acres of prime, highly desirable urban real estate to surface parking lots. These cars sit completely idle for most of the day, occupying land that could otherwise hold apartments or businesses. The modern city has plenty of room for humans. It is just disastrously over-optimized for storing empty metal boxes. The problem is also vertical. Look up, and you'll see multi-story concrete parking garages eating up entire city blocks, dominating the downtown skyline. Head out to the suburbs, and you find single-purpose glass office buildings entirely surrounded by oceans of empty asphalt. By locking up so much usable ground for static vehicle storage, we create artificial land scarcity. When land is scarce, developers have fewer places to build, and the cost of whatever housing does exist gets pushed incredibly high. To solve the affordable housing crisis, we don't need to push our borders further out into nature. We need to systematically reclaim the map we've already drawn. The tool that allows us to reclaim this land is the autonomous electric vehicle fleet. Automation requires electric vehicles because of how they are built. A gas engine relies on hundreds of mechanical parts. An EV is a giant computer on wheels. Using a drive-by-wire system, onboard AI instantly controls steering and braking via digital signals, bypassing physical linkages. When these vehicles drive themselves, they don't need to park. They can operate almost 24 hours a day as a Robotaxi service. Because they are constantly moving between riders, a single highly utilized autonomous vehicle can replace up to 10 privately owned cars. You no longer need to buy a car to get to work. Transportation becomes a reliable, on-demand service. Families that own 2 or 3 vehicles to juggle everyone's schedule won't need to own any. Simply changing the computer inside the car triggers a massive reduction in the total number of physical vehicles required to run a city. Let's revisit our map to see what happens as the vehicle population shrinks. With shared fleets constantly in motion, parking demand plummets. Those highlighted red zones, the surface lots, street parking, and multi-story garages, empty out, leaving massive blank voids on the grid. Now add a secondary trend, the rise of immersive digital workspaces. With a larger share of the workforce skipping the daily commute to log in virtually, physical infrastructure drops. Overly wide highways shrink, and massive corporate office parks lose their necessity, clearing even more space. The ripple effect eventually hits the supporting infrastructure. Traditional car dealerships, gas stations, and oil change shops begin to shutter because highly efficient electric fleets require entirely different maintenance hubs. The synergy of AI fleets and digital workspaces effectively guts 20th century automotive infrastructure. We are left with millions of square feet of prime real estate sitting completely empty. So what exactly fills all of these newly created voids on our urban map? We can replace those vast expanses of asphalt and concrete with high-density, mid-rise apartments, walkable retail storefronts, and public parks. Converting parking land into residential units provides a massive injection of buildable acreage, allowing cities to increase housing density while staying within existing footprints. This chart shows exactly how that translates to affordability. As the supply of available housing units steeply rises to meet demand, the fierce upward pressure on rent and home prices drops. At the same time, because riding in an autonomous fleet is cheap and you can work or relax while you travel, you no longer need to live right next to the office. The viable geographic radius for where people can comfortably live expands outward. That dynamic spreads people out, diffusing the intensely concentrated demand that historically makes urban cores so prohibitively expensive. The financial benefits cascade down to the household level. By shedding car payments, high insurance premiums, gasoline, and regular maintenance, an average family suddenly has hundreds of extra dollars a month freed up for housing or savings. Our daily experience shifts back to human-centric neighborhood life. Ground floor businesses and walkable community spaces replace the sprawling oceans of asphalt that used to separate us. Autonomous electric fleets dismantle the asphalt barriers of the 20th century, making room for thousands of new front doors and the people behind them.